Good morning, Facebook land. I believe it's 11:11. Time for a little body check, a little stretching, a little strengthening, a little shaking out the stresses of the day. And as is usual, I'm here to check in with my own body and invite you to check in with your own body. Encourage you to move, stretch, breathe, smile, let go. If you care to join me to whatever degree feels good in your body. Let's just do a little arm swinging to warm things up. It is a chilly out here. Reminds me I may need to get a little heat in here for my lemon and my banana trees. They don't really like this coldness, although they tolerate some of it. I'm grateful for that. Burr. All right. I'm going to take a couple breaths and bring my attention into the bottoms of my feet. Root myself into the center of the earth. Hang my spine from the center of the universe. Just take a couple nice breaths. Fill the lungs and squeeze them out. Let's do some arms up on the breath in and arms down on the breath out. And again, breathing in, filling the lungs and just letting that go one more time. Simple breathing is a underappreciated, underutilized, great practice. Let's do whole big arm circles with the same thought in mind, breathing in and then out on the way down. Shake that out a little bit. Let's do some shoulder shrugs. Breathing in, tensing up. And then just blowing off the dust. I like to imagine I'm sticking gold dust onto my bones and tense muscles and then just blowing that off. One more time. Putting the shoulders in the ears and then just blowing that off. Let's see if I can tolerate just 2 shirts instead of 2 shirts and a down vest. The kitty wants to come in. Let's see if she can figure out how to open the door. She did it once not too long ago. It's a new skill. She's not remembering how. She knows how to push, but not to pull. Be so easy if she did. I may go help her, but I'll give her a chance to try it out. You can do it. She's waiting for my assist. I'm gonna swan dive down from the hips. That's here, not the waist, but all the way from here toward the ground and just letting gravity do some unwinding of the spine. Hanging out here. Let's go a little to the left, using the hands on the leg to pull. And then over to the right, just getting a nice gentle twist and stretch of the shoulders. Back to center. And then bending the legs, swinging the arms back. Coming into a nice counter stretch, pushing the hips forward, bringing the eyes up. Coming back to center. Kitty has given up for now. Let's do some more forward folding before I get carried away. Do a nice rolling down, nice and slow this time. Oh, she's back. All the way past the waist to the hips. Just hanging here again in a forward fold. Letting gravity do some unwinding. And then I'm going to come up from the waist this time. Left elbow over right. Giving myself a nice hug. Pulling these shoulders apart. Giving them a little squeeze. Pulling back in the abdomen and up in the pelvic floor. Round in the spine. Yay, she did it. See, I told you you could do it. And then releasing all that again from the hips. Just unwinding. And then coming up, give myself another hug. This time right elbow over left. Pulling the shoulder blades apart. Giving a nice squeeze. Pulling up in the pelvic floor. Back in the abdomen. Rounding the spine. Tuck the chin a little bit. Get a nice rounding stretch. And then releasing all that again from the hips. I'm going to walk these feet out into a straddle position. Do a little side to side dipping in the hips just to get an extra little stretch through the legs. Just kind of rocking back and forth with the hip dips. And then I'm going to come over to the left, bringing the torso over that left leg. For a nice forward fold on that side, using the hands for torque. And then back to center. And then over to the right. Using the hands again to pull the torso over that right leg for a nice twisting forward fold. And then back to center, pulling with both hands on both legs. Really lengthen the spine from the hips. Letting go of the neck. I'm going to put the hands down and walk those feet back together under the hips. And then roll up, stacking one vertebra on the next. Coming back to a standing position. Shake the shoulders out. Shake the hands out. Kitty's like, it's colder in here than it is outside in the sunshine. I know, I could have told her that if she spoke human language, but she doesn't speak much of that, I don't think. Maybe she does. I don't know. Do I? Let's just shake it out to the left. Shake it out to the right. Do a little smoothing in the arms. Still been having lots of pain and numbness in those arms. I like to remember to do a daily check of those and just let go. Let's do some little circles with the fingers on the wrists for good measure. While I'm thinking of it, just stretching through the hands, through the wrists. Shaking that out. I'm going to go ahead and step back with the left foot first into a nice moderate lunge. Pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back. Looking for a perpendicular line with the hips. Tipping the tailbone under a little bit. Making sure not to crunch past the toes with that front foot. Pressing into that back heel. Nice and long and strong through the midsection from the core. And let's bring the arms up overhead, making sure not to crunch up in those shoulders. Just enjoying that for a breath or so. Really pulling through the hips, tipping that pelvis, really trying to get a nice straight long line through the abdomen and through the spine. And then I'm going to close the hips even more, come into this off side, looking for this side plane here, bringing the arms into alignment perhaps. It helps to have a mirror or a camera there. It's kind of amazing how my perception is often not a perfect match for my actual reality. Ever find that's true? I think if you pay attention, you might find it's more true than you think. just a theory I have at this point. I'm kind of eking that back foot back, ending up on the toe more than the heel, although I'm still pushing that heel onto the ground, widening the stance, sliding that back foot out, and I'm going to put the left hand down on the inside of the right leg into a nice twisting triangle, bringing that right hand up to gaze past the fingertips, giving the organs a nice little squeeze, giving the spine a little twist, making sure not to collapse in that supporting leg or hand. Let's bring this arm around, reach for that opposite thigh, and gaze out past that back heel, giving a little more squeeze, a little hug to the internal organs, a little wringing out. And then unwinding all of that, I'm going to bring this hand on the outside of this left foot and push back into a forward fold. Draping the body over that front leg for a long spine sensation. Aiming my chin for my toes. And then I'm going to alternate a little bit, rounding the spine, aiming my forehead for my knee. And then from the hips, long again, chin for toes, and then forehead for knee, and chin to toes, and forehead to knee. And then I'm going to bring weight onto both hands and bring this front leg back to meet the back leg, pushing through the palms, through the long hands, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into the heels. Let's do a little hip dipping from here. Bending the right knee, pressing into the left heel. Bending the left, pressing into the right. And again, pressing into the left. Pressing into the right. That just gives a nice feeling stretch through the leg and through the hip. Pressing again into the left. And pressing again into the right, pressing back through both palms, into both heels, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing the heart toward the center of the earth. And then I'm going to swing the body forward, bringing the chest up through the shoulders, squeezing those legs together behind me, bringing the eyes up, making sure not to sink in those shoulders, and just letting the belly relax if possible. I'm protecting the low back here by squeezing the buttocks and the legs together, and just really try to relax the belly. Just let it sag or hang, getting a nice stretch through the front. Can add some funny noises with a tongue stretch if you feel so inclined. Add to that, and then I'm going to lift the hips, pressing back through the palms again, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing the heels down. And swinging that left foot forward in between the hands for a nice deep lunge. Don't forget to breathe and smile, whatever else you're doing. That's the most important part. Or you can try holding your breath and scowling and see how that works out for you. Let me know how that works for you, if that's your choice. I'm going to step forward with that back foot to meet the front foot. Hang here again in forward fold, just letting the spine get long, hanging from the hips. And then I'm going to bend the knees, swing the arms back, come again into a counter stretch, pushing the hips forward, bringing the eyes up past those fingertips, and back to neutral or center. My kitty's purring over there in the cold. I'm going to step back with the right foot into a moderate lunge, pulling that back hip forward, forward hip back, looking for a perpendicular line in the hips, tipping the tailbone under a little bit, pressing that back heel toward the earth, making sure this front knee is not crunching past the toes, arms up overhead, making sure not to crunch up in the shoulders. Still really working that back hip forward, forward hip back. Tucking the tailbone under, looking for a nice long supportive line from the core, through the spine, through the abdomen. Some more breathing and smiling, I think, is in order, and then I'm going to close the hips even more and go to this outside side plane. Check the alignment of the arms, just exploring this side plane here with the eyes, with the arms, closing the hips. And then sliding back on that back toe a little bit to widen the stance. Bringing this right hand down on the inside of the left foot and twisting to gaze up past the left fingertips in a twisting aeroplane pose, as I like to call it. Giving those organs a nice little squeeze, giving the spine a little wringing out. And I'm going to bring this hand around the back to reach for this opposite hip and bring my gaze down to gaze out past that back heel for a little more squeezing of the organs, a little more hugging of everybody inside, a little more poppling in my own spine, which isn't my favorite, but is how it goes some days. I'm going to unwind all of that and bring this hand down on the outside of that left leg, straighten that left leg, and drape the body over that leg for a nice forward fold, aiming my chin for my toes, a nice long line through the spine, and then more rounded, aiming my forehead for my knee. And then again, chin for toes. I like to really try to just elongate from the hip, relaxing the belly, feeling for a nice long spine, aiming my chin for my toes. And then again, rounding, forehead for knee. And one more time, chin toward toes. And then forehead to knee. And then bringing my weight onto my hands, I'm going to bring this front foot back to meet back foot, pressing through the palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into both heels. Together. There we go. You can call me back. Bringing the eyes up, pressing through the palms, lifting the chest, dropping the belly, pulling the legs and butt together behind me, really trying to relax the belly. Is it cold over there? And then pressing back again through the palms, past the cat butt, into the heels. Pressing through the palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into both heels. I'm going to swing that left foot forward into a nice, or rather the right foot, sorry about that. Try to keep it even on both sides. Enjoying that lunge for a little bit, and then I'm going to scrunch and step forward with that back foot hanging here in forward fold. Just letting the spine unwind with gravity. Relaxing through the belly, relaxing through the hips. Relaxing the neck. Let's roll up one vertebra, stacking on the next. Nice and slow. Just checking in with everybody. Let's do just a little free arm swinging, twisting. Bring the body back together. It wasn't apart really, but you know, my spine feels like it wants a little more twisting, so I'll give it that. I think I'm going to do a little balancing next. So come back to center. Shake that out a little bit. I'm going to bring my weight onto the right. Bring this left knee up toward left shoulder. Relaxing the shoulders, tipping the tailbone under a little bit. Relaxing that supporting leg. Let's do a little rotating. The left foot, little circles. And then I'm going to reach for the bottom of this foot. Still trying not to counter lean or get too bound up in the midsection. Nice and long and strong, tipping that tailbone under, straightening that leg as much as possible. Just trying to really focus on relaxing the supporting side, relaxing the midsection while still staying nice and long and strong. Combination of long, strong, and relaxed, if that makes sense. We'll bring that out to the left. Wiggle that around a little bit in the hip socket. Let's do a little pulling with the hand, strengthening that arm, and then pushing with the toes to kind of stretch that arm, releasing through the chest here, getting a nice stretch. And then again, pulling with the arm, pulling back on those toes if you want to increase that stretch. And then pushing with the toes, relaxing through the shoulder. One more time, pulling with the arm. And then pushing with the toes. I'm going to bend this knee, bring this foot in close to the groin on that supporting leg, swinging this knee back, tipping the tailbone under, relaxing that supporting foot. I'm going to bring the arms up overhead, making sure not to crunch in the shoulders. And imagine myself, one of my favorite things, that's a tree on a mountain. Imagine a nice warm breeze this morning. Maybe some of my leaves are trickling down. The leaves are still hanging on around here, even though they got frozen a couple weeks ago. It's kind of an odd tree year to me, anyway. Bringing all that back to center, releasing that foot, stomping it out a little bit. I'm going to bring my weight onto the left and bring the right knee up toward right shoulder. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the supporting leg, tipping the tailbone under, looking for a nice long and strong line through the abdomen and spine. Let's do a little foot rotation on the ankle. Check in with that ankle this morning, or afternoon, as the case may be where you are. And then reaching for this foot, straightening that leg as much as possible. Still trying to stay relaxed and strong through that supporting side and through the center. Letting go in the belly. Letting go in the leg. Letting go with this left hand. I'm going to bring that out to the right. Side tends to be much stiffer on me, so just gotta respect the body. Kind of notice how the two sides are different and yet still working together. I like to wiggle that around in the hip socket a little, and then I'm going to pull back on the toes with that right arm, and then push with the toes, stretching through the chest and through the arm, through the shoulder, and then pulling again on the toes. Gotta wobble, pushing with the toes, and then pulling again with the arm, Finishing one more time with the toes, and then I'm going to bend this leg, setting that foot on the supporting leg, swinging this knee back, tipping the tailbone under, relaxing through the shoulders, through the spine and abdomen, bringing the arms up overhead, making sure not to crunch in those shoulders, just nice and long and strong and relaxed. Still a breathing and a smiling. And imagine myself again, a nice tree, strong and swaying in a breeze, sunny breeze on a mountain. I'm going to release all that. Stomp that out a little bit. Whew. Shake out some stress. Just let it go. You can always pick it back up, or don't worry, more stress is on the way, so you might as well let go of the stresses you got today. Make room for the stresses of tomorrow. It's my strategy. My poor hands are so cold and stiff that my clap snaps are pretty weak. It's good to check in with those, though. It's good to see a couple of you out there. Robbie, Shiote, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're remembering to take care of you, because you are worthy of your own unconditional love. I encourage you to play, move, breathe. Till next time, peace.